Everyone, and welcome to the February 15th Budget and Finance Committee meeting for the City of Franklin. The first item on the agenda is called to order. We'll do that with a roll call vote. Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Present.
And Alderman Peterson.
Here.
And the chair votes present. Let the record show that Alderman Baggett is in Phoenix or Tucson. Doesn't matter. He's not here. Arizona. That's close enough. I'm in the neighborhood. The next item on the agenda is consideration of changes in the agenda and setting the agenda. Are there any motions regarding changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to move forward with the agenda is set.
Proper motion or a second?
Second.
Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Alderman Peterson, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So the next item then is a presentation for government and management. Christine, you want to introduce that?
Clyde, yeah, will you see if there's any citizen comments?
Oh, okay. Well, do we have any citizen comments? Yeah, I will make a little humorous remark. Been doing this for 30 years. I don't think I've ever had a citizen come up and on budget and finance with a comment, much. But anyway, that taken care of, Christine?
Good afternoon, everyone. Our city administrator, Eric Stuckey, he will be joining us later in this meeting. However, we wanted to go ahead and on his behalf, I wanted to just welcome everyone. And we do have a number of budget presentations for fiscal '25 today. And the first department that we have would have been scheduled for the last meeting, and we needed to schedule them today. We're very honored to have the Human Resources team with us, and our director, Kevin Townsell, and his team will introduce themselves for you and talk about their budget requests for next year. And then we'll just go ahead and introduce the next group of budget presentations, which will include the departments and offices which I support directly currently: finance, purchasing, information technology, revenue management, city court, and facilities management. They will be coming up in the next set of presentations. So with that, we're excited to be here today, and I'll turn this over to Kevin Townsell, if that is okay with Mr. Chair.
Go right ahead.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm excited to be here and introduce you to my leaders of my team and go through my budget. So first off, I'm Kevin Townsell, Director of Human Resources Department.
Good afternoon. I'm Jamie Ewald, the Organizational Development Manager.
Hi, I'm Delaney Childress, the Human Resources Manager.
Hello, I'm Sarah Silvis, Risk and Benefits Manager.
Hello, I'm Sean Groves. I'm the Employee Relations Specialist.
So I've got a great team, and we have the most fun department in the city of Franklin.
All right.
That's right. But we have some hard work we have to do, too. Let me tell you about that. First, we're responsible for the recruiting, hiring, and onboarding processes of all the employees. We administer the city's pension, the defined benefits, defined contribution plan, and TCRS plans. We're responsible for creating and implementing the HR manual rules and regulations, managing all the city employees and OSHA regulations, civil treatment, and other topics. We procure and administer all the property and casualty insurance, including the city's self-insured workers' comp program. We manage the safety program for all city employees, and we manage employee benefits and conduct workplace investigations. And that's just part of what we do. You'll see on slide 4, our organizational chart reflects that we have the administrative assistant reporting to the director, and we have risk management, as you've met Sarah there. We also have Jamie, who's in charge of organizational development, and then HR manager right here as well, Delaney, and the people that report up to her. If we move to the next slide, you'll see that there's not a huge change from last year. It's if you look at the base budget, there's an increase of approximately 8%, and that's really attributable to the higher medical premiums. That does not, as I'm sure Michael told you from the other day, there are no pay increases listed there. That's listed somewhere else, but that's simply the cost of doing business tomorrow as we've done it in the past. There is one program enhancement request, and it's a serious one. It's one for the Human Resources System Analyst. So let me explain that request. What it is as the city has grown, and when I say the city has grown, I'm talking about the amount of employees we have. To work at optimum level, we use a lot of different softwares. Trackstar for our performance. We use Cadient for hiring. We use UKG for data and benefits flow, also used in payroll, and Target Solutions in training. And that's just what we're using currently. To optimize our ability to take care of our employees, we have to optimize our ability to handle all of these different tools. And right now, yes, everyone's trained on all of these. We work on all of these. But to have someone set aside to focus on this, an HR person to focus on this, is what we're looking for. Right now, we have a 24-year employee who has the most experience with all of our systems. So when I say she's a 24-year employee, I mean she's eligible to retire in less than 2 years. So this will also help us if we have someone, if she did choose to leave, we have somebody in HR who take over all the institutional memory, all the different processes that we need her to take going forward, that we need someone to take going forward. These are tools that are used for, and I've probably already hit on it, employee relations, benefits, hiring people, and to do it at the level it needs to happen going forward, on our online presence, we need somebody to help us do that. And that's why that is our one program enhancement request. With that program enhancement request, we have a proposed organizational chart, which you'll see that person would flow to the HR manager, who it could have been either Sarah or Delaney, but I think that's the proposition for this. It supports the entire department, which will support the entire city. As I close, let me throw out a couple of things. The Human Resources Department will continue our good work in 2025, servicing our most important resource, our employees. Highlights of last year included completing our first professionally administered employee survey. Jamie was really responsible for most of that program. Yes, a lot of people helped you out with it, but that was something you did and helped us in a lot of meaningful ways. We achieved a 92% participation, unheard of, which has us listed as a top workplace status, the only local government in the state to do so. We created a new risk incident form for our employees and supervisors. It's easier to use. We also included a QR code so employees can access the form while they are out in the field. Completely transformed the HR manual. It's more comprehensive, including new programs like paid family leave, vacation buyback, sick conversion, as well as vacation accruals for all employees. We set aside we had all staff meetings in terms of something we called team talks. What was that? We held 19 meetings in 7 days to communicate with all the staff that was able to come out. And we communicated a lot of important things that are important to the city. And it also gave the staff a chance to provide feedback to the city leaders. I'm not going to bore you with all of our highlights, but I wanted to mention those. I also want to mention that we implemented new interview training programs for all supervisors. I think Delaney had another successful training session. Delaney had another successful training session today. We created and implemented an internal certificate of insurance program for departments to utilize while requisitions and the RFP processes. We revamped the wellness committee and have had numerous events throughout the city this year. And I'll leave it with this. We implemented new voluntary product vendors that lowered employee rates and increased benefits. We are very fortunate, as I said, we started off, we're a very fun department with a lot of serious work that has to be done on our side. and it touches all the employees. So with that, I'm going to conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Any questions from the committee? Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Trey.
it.
Thank you, everyone.
Next item on the agenda is budget presentation from Finance Administration. Christine, you want to start that just for a few words, and then we'll
Sure, I'd be glad.
punt to
I'd be
whoever
ha-
wants to speak first
I
or
would
second.
be happy to. I will here at the start of my comments, I do want to acknowledge that this is most likely the last budget that will be requested by Mike Lowe as our comptroller. Mike has served us for almost 25 years, and he is planning to retire in December. And so he'll be certainly before this committee many times before his retirement, but I do want to acknowledge that before he gives you his budget request. Also, and also on practical terms, that the fiscal '24 budget did approve some funds for us to go ahead and hire the next comptroller during the second part of the current fiscal year, so that we could have almost a year overlap between Mike's intended retirement right before Christmas. So there will be a request to overfill that position for the first part of fiscal '25, so that the new comptroller will work side by side with Mike to go through the fiscal '24 audit, and that his retirement plans coincide with finishing the audit, which typically this committee serves as the audit committee the first full week of December or so. And so, and then after this committee meets, we tick and tie the audit together and file it. So his retirement will coincide with finishing that fiscal '24 audit up. So that is a little bit longer transition than perhaps some retirements that we talk about, but the critical nature of that audit function and leading our accounting function, we do appreciate the opportunity for the new comptroller to work very closely with Mike for a period of probably 9 months or so. And with that, I don't, while that sounds kind of gloomy, I'm very happy for Mike, and I appreciate all that he's doing to make this transition be something that will be hopefully, which I know it will be, it's going to be a good process, but we are going to miss him very much as well. So with that, Mike, hopefully you can be more cheery than me. But this is the finance
Be real
department,
cheery, can't you?
the finance department's budget request for fiscal '25.
Good afternoon. You are probably tired of hearing from me after all these years, but this is the finance leadership team. And you all see us quite regularly because we present information to this committee on a pretty regular basis. I do want to let you know that the finance department, we do oversee the security and management of the city's financial interest. This includes the budget that we work with the city administrator on, as well as if there is a debt issue, we would work with Christine on. We also have other financial services that we provide. We provide accounts payable, payroll, accounting, reporting, investments, and making sure the external audit happens and is hopefully successful each year. The one thing that the finance department does not do is we do not collect monies. That is actually done in the revenue management department, which you will hear from shortly. We did want to let you kind of have an update about the recent accomplishments in the finance department. We were glad to have no audit findings from the fiscal year 2023 budget, or I'm sorry, audit. With administration, as part of that audit, we actually helped clarify the role of the TMA group as a contractor in providing transit services. So that was something that we successfully implemented. There actually was a governmental accounting standard for software It was to treat it like other leases, and we actually implemented that in the previous fiscal year. With HR, we actually worked with them in updating their internal controls for reviewing insurance coverage. We also, as I knew that my retirement was coming, we really focused on getting documentation down of our financial processes. And one last item is, and you saw it in the audit, is we actually did a capital assets inventory to make sure that the departments felt comfortable with the list that we had as the capital assets that they still had in service. And one thing we want to do is, whereas that was a periodic inventory, we want to try and do it on an annual basis going forward. Some other accomplishments, I know, Michael, you helped us work on these, is about with the city administrator now having the third management fellow, spearheaded the fiscal year 2024 operating budget, implementation of the new budget software, continued the update of the 10-year capital improvement program, provided staff support for the Franklin Citizen Survey, and with admin and HR, worked in helping to implement the city's compensation plan. This next slide will probably be the last one in my part of the presentation. And I guess the theme in finance in fiscal year 2025 is transition. So Christina's already talked about the transition from me as comptroller to someone else's comptroller, but I do want to highlight the other transition in finance. If you look at the financial manager part-time, I want to recognize Lou Davis. After working and providing service to the city for 25 years in a full-time role, she has actually now been working 14 years on a part-time basis, doing things from reconciliations to special projects to sharing her experience with the rest of the finance team. So I just want to thank her and recognize her, because that it's actually been a lot of things that she has actually handled for us over the years.
And this committee will recall very well the TIF loan that the city had for the Cool Springs Nissan area. And Lou Davis did the accounting on that TIF loan for all those years. So she was there and did the accounting for the entire period. And of course, the board paid off that loan early, so it would still be outstanding, but it has been repaid in full. But I want to give Lou a lot of credit specifically. That's one aspect of really experienced accounting work that she provided. And I would go into her office and she'd show me once we had the tax rolls, and we're making sure that, and when we would come to the board and say, you can pay in additional funds toward paying that loan down early, it was working with Lou on what we could pay down early. So she really did a lot of work that this committee has utilized over the years.
Good afternoon. For our base budget, for personnel, it's status quo from the prior years, small increases just due to benefit costs. On operations, you will see a drastic decrease. That is because we did implement the new UKG payroll, and this year we've had 3 payrolls already on it. We're getting ready to have our 4th next week. And then the ongoing costs go into IT's budget, and we're working with them on those costs. So that's why the significant decrease for operations. And as capital, we don't have any capital needs in finance. We do have one program enhancement request this year, and that goes along with Mike referring to the upcoming re-retirement of Lou Davis. We are looking to change her position from part-time to a full-time lead analyst. So not a supervisor, but someone who has the GASB experience, someone who could help take the lead on writing the annual report and items like that, and then help the other analysts with special projects as necessary. But not be in that supervisory position.
And I guess I'm batting cleanup. We don't do this alone. If you are a member of the finance team, would you raise your hands or stand out in the audience? Say hello, finance team. Hello, finance team. You know, as a great fellow Kansas Citian of mine, Harry Truman once said, at the end of the day, the buck stops here. And that's what this team in the audience and around this table does. And in my nearly 30 years in government, better than any I've ever worked with. We make sure you know where your money comes from. We make sure your money knows where your money is going, how it's accounted for, and we try to provide a model of transparency so that you can make the best decisions possible with not our money and not your money, but with the people's money. And that's exactly what we are poised to do in fiscal 25, to continue to support you making informed decisions, support all of our fellow departments and employees in delivering the high-quality city services that you have known to come to expect from us. There are 3 numbers which you see highlighted at the bottom of the screen, and we are very, very proud to make these statements. For the 32nd consecutive year, the City of Franklin, Tennessee has received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association of America. That does not happen without an incredible amount of hard work by my fellow peers at this table. We have won the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award from the same organization for 13 years. And Mike did a little bit of intrepid homework yesterday. We didn't not just have no audit findings, that is horrible grammar, I apologize, in the fiscal 23 audit, but we have received 0 audit findings for 9 consecutive years. So we're proud to serve you all, and we're happy to continue to have the chance to do it. Mr. Chairman, we're happy to answer any and all questions that you may have of your finance team.
Committee, any questions?
No questions, just a comment. Thank you for your service, sir. You will be missed, but we're glad you're here for at least 9 more months.
Well, that car may not know how to turn anyway, so it may come back for 2 or 3 months after that, so you never, yeah. And any comments or questions? Thank you, appreciate it. Christine, do you want to?
Next, as our purchasing manager, Brian Wilcox, is coming up, this is also another office that I'm very pleased to support, and Brian has, as his team, two members of the purchasing team is in our audience as well, so I'm glad to see them.
Would you like for them to come up? You don't?
One
you
is
don't?
shaking her head, but I will give acknowledgement that this is
I do wish to introduce them.
Okay.
Suzanne Ward, raise your hand. Suzanne has been with the city, I should have memorized the statistics, 2012? Since 2012, and is my right hand. And Tabitha Amstutz, wave Tabitha, well, thank you, is new to our department in the last 6 months, but not new to the city. She previously served in the administration department. And it took courage on my part to steal her from the administration department. And I am slightly scarred. Not with us is Leslie Pewitt. I want to give a shout out to Leslie. She couldn't be here today, but sends her regards. The shout out is that she helped more than any of us in preparing the budget request for your review. Thank you for your time. Moving along, our purchasing office, the focus is for the purchasing office is to give its attention to the purchase of goods and services that do not pertain to new construction. And we leave to the engineering department and the facilities office the purchasing that does pertain to new construction. Our mission in the purchasing office is to support the city's end user departments in the policy compliant procurement of non-construction related products and services so that the city may fulfill its mission. Secondly, to strive for the city to receive maximum value for every non-construction related purchase. And thirdly, we strive to preserve and enhance the public trust in the manner in which the city conducts its non-construction related purchasing. I want to give a shout out to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Back in 2012, the board passed Resolution 2012-15, which adopted for the city of Franklin the values and guiding principles of the public procurement profession, which were developed by NIGP, the Institute for Public Procurement. And though those values and guiding principles include 3 pillars, namely public trust, public service, and justice, and 6 values, which are accountability, ethics, impartiality, professionalism, service, and transparency. If you come visit the purchasing office, you will see in the hallway inside of our office framed representations of these 6 values. So we are reminded daily of them, and we mean to practice them every day. The next few slides demonstrate how purchasing supports the other departments of the city. In fact, we think of the other departments as our clients. So, vehicles and off-road equipment, and you see some examples. Technology. Professional consulting and other services. Facility and field equipment, and supplies. We also support the other departments by promoting and maintaining open lines of communication with designated representatives of each department, by identifying, describing, and promoting the use of best practices to be followed by city departments, by representing the city at area vendor outreach events and functioning as a centralized point of contact for the community of suppliers, service providers, and contractors that seek to do business with the city. I like to say that the purchasing function doesn't work unless we have suppliers, service providers, and contractors who wish to do business with the city. So I appreciate their interest in the city of Franklin. In the field of public procurement, we work hard to stay abreast of new laws and evolving best practices. We pursue professional development for ourselves and for others, and promoting and supporting the profession. The next slide provides some statistics regarding our purchasing card program. The top chart shows with the blue bars the value of spend or total value of transactions used with the purchasing card. The purchasing card is really a credit card that's issued by the city to employees who have a need to make purchases on behalf of the city. The gold line in that chart represents our rebate that we earn from the issuing bank. You'll notice that it spiked up slightly, and that's mostly due to a new contract that we're under for our purchasing card program. The lower chart, the orange bars show the number of transactions per year, and then the gray bar is showing the number of cardholders. The next slide is talking about the acquisition of fuel for the city's fleet of vehicles and equipment. The top chart is showing the gallons purchased, the light blue showing diesel, and the darker blue showing gasoline products. And the lower chart is showing the number of drivers in the orange and the number of vehicles and equipment that are issued cards to identify them. The next slide has two charts as well. The first one has to do with the disposal of the city's surplus property. I want to give a shout out to our fleet department who helps with the disposal of vehicles and equipment, and to our police department that helps with the disposal of seized property, that is property that is accumulated in the course of law enforcement. And then the lower chart talks about the number of requisitions that the purchasing office processes. You'll notice that the last few years were around 300 requisitions, dropped off this past calendar year to just under 250. And I want to give a shout out to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for, I assume that part of the reason for that is that our threshold for when a requisition is required, we were able to raise with your permission. So that helped with our workload. Next, and maybe we should pause here to give plenty of time, is our complicated organizational chart. Let me know when you're ready. Next is our base budget. As with previous departments presenting today, slight increase in the personnel expenses due to medical premiums and retirement benefit costs for the employees assigned to the purchasing office. And the operations department, the operations budget for our department will decrease, and that is mostly due to the fact that last year we, with your support, had some door locks installed that permit the office to be a little more secure during the business day, so that those who have an ID can wave their ID at the door lock and poof, it opens. And those who don't are now asked to ring the doorbell, and we come scrambling. Thank you for that enhancement to our safety. I want to close by quoting from the proclamation that Mayor Moore was nice enough to sign and present last night at the board meeting, Tuesday evening, excuse me. One of the paragraphs talks about how procurement is a team effort, and its success depends upon the efforts, support, and cooperation of the city's elected and appointed officials, department heads, departmental purchasing agents, the staff of the city's engineering, facilities, fleet, law, and purchasing departments, the Tennessee Department of General Services Central Procurement Office, and the community of suppliers, service providers, and contractors that seek to do business with the city. With that, I'll conclude. Thank you so much for your time.
Any questions from the committee? If not, we'll go to the next presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we'll invite our information technology leadership to join us. And once again, this is another department that I am fortunate to support. We have with us Jason Potts, our IT director.
Jason Potts number 2, isn't it?
Yes, and we also have
Go with that.
Brandy Arnett, our assistant director, and both of these folks have really spent the vast majority of their career here at the City of Franklin, and I think that's something that's really important to note, that both of them are invested in public service and in the IT field. To invest their careers in public service and here in local government is really something that that has benefited the city, and we hope that has given them both an opportunity to grow and to succeed in this field. So we're glad to have them with us today.
And before we start, thank you very much for your department helping me Tuesday.
Of course. So, as Christine said, we're very fortunate to be part of the support services group that reports up to Christine, working with finance, purchasing, facilities. Jason Potts, IT Director, Information Technology. With me, I have Brandy Arnett, which is the Assistant Director of Technology. So we'll get started. Glad to be here with you this afternoon. The purpose of our department is to provide innovative, reliable, and secure technology solutions that are aligned with the City of Franklin's goals, objectives to enhance city services. Information technology is focused on providing professional and prompt service to our community by strengthening the City of Franklin's infrastructure and delivering innovative goals or innovative solutions that meet our city's needs and goals. So with the next one, Brandy's going to touch on some of the accomplishments, and I'll wrap up on those.
Thank you. So we wanted to start by just giving the number of tickets that we process throughout the years. The entire department processed 6,745 tickets. That's just day-to-day stuff. And then we have additional projects, things like that. It's not calculated in here. We started working a lot more in Power BI, creating dashboards and other analytic measures to improve our work processes. We had 43 servers that had to be upgraded due to Microsoft's end of life for the operating system that they were running. So we had to get those done by October of 2023, which we successfully did. And were you gonna?
Yeah, I can touch on that a little bit, or add to the next piece. So the implementation of next generation security solutions, practices, architecture to enhance the organization's cybersecurity footprint. So this past year we did work very intensely to really look at our operations, our internal processes, and we were able to implement it's more of a next generation type solution. We really have like a layered approach with the solutions that we have in place. We have a lot of different tools that sort of work together as a combination to basically just to secure our data and allow us to continue to operate with the outside world. So we were able to implement the MDR and EDR, which is like endpoint detection response pieces of software, which was a big accomplishment for us and our team. So you want to touch on the next one, Brandy?
Yeah. So the IS developer, he was able to work with the departments and create several in-house applications to help improve efficiency within the departments. The next one was a joint effort. We worked alongside the fire department and several of our divisions of IT to get the locations of the Motorola radios onto the maps. And this was a big effort going into pilgrimage for 2022. And we received a Special Achievement Award at the Esri Conference in San Diego over the summer. And we were selected out of 100,000 organizations to receive this award. And we also were able to do a presentation that the fire department assisted with.
I'll add to that.
Mm-hmm.
So Esri is our back-end mapping solution, so all the maps and everything that you see. So this is something that it was never done before. So we had our internal staff that works for us work together and program and come up with a solution. So, as Brandy said at Pilgrimage, that they could look at on a map and see where everyone was that worked for the city. So if a battery, for example, was about to die, or if they needed help. So this was a big emergency services feature that we were able to come together. And out of all the professional organizations, and Esri, which is the mapping solution, had not done it before. So I just wanted to add that.
We worked alongside finance to create an online payment portal for the ones that have extra duty, the ones that have to pay extra duty invoices. They can now pay them online. We've been working for several years on a scanning project to eliminate paper in the buildings and digitize things. We are coming along great. We worked with engineering, streets. We've had some revenue management, and phase one planning has a lot. So phase one of planning was completed in 2023, and phase two will be completed in 2024.
I'll touch on these next two. So another big accomplishment, which is should be completely transparent to really everyone. But if we didn't have it, everyone would completely notice. So we worked this year, over this past year, to implement a secondary ISP. So we went with a local company, and we used its routing protocol called BGP. So in the event that we lose connectivity to the outside world, this redundant internet service provider will kick in with as much connectivity, with as much email, for example, with the outside world, and business continuity will continue. So nobody notices. So that's something that we did put in place, which we needed to have that. So we were proud to get that knocked out. Access control, which is I think I heard Brian touch on that with his department, but that's something that we take care of. And we completed installation for access control at all fire stations and the water reclamation plant as well. So next slide is our current organization chart. I'll sort of go through that. It's a little bit more detailed than Brian's in purchasing, but a few more positions. But we do have a count of 26 plus 1. We've got a very strong department, especially for a municipality, with the amount of technology we support across all departments. We do later on in a couple slides, we'll get to a couple PERs that we're going to bring forth to you. But I wanted to highlight this with our organization chart that we had. So when I started, it was myself and one other individual, and we didn't have a department at that time. So in the time frame of the tenure that I have been here, we've built to this 26 plus 1. And over the course of that, I thought it was very important to highlight with this group the support we get not only from Christine or other ACAs, Eric, Mayor Moore, but I've added it up. And with the employees that we currently have on staff today, we have over 296 years of technology experience. That's just with the city out of our employees, which I think is pretty cool. So, there's not a lot of turnover. So we're doing some things right. And we want to thank you for allowing us to do that and giving us the tools to put that in place. So we'll move down to the next slide, the base budget. We do have a more of an increase than you've heard previously from some of the other presentations. I will ask Michael to jump in to sort of help out after I talk about the technology piece. Over the years, especially since Michael has been on board, we have really worked hard to pull all technology into our budget for really easier and more accurate, measurable data analytics from one place. So for example, if we move forward and purchase a piece of software, moving forward, that maintenance will come out of the information technology budget. So I do want to put that out there in regards to the numbers that you do see. I don't know if you want to add to that, Michael.
No, just simply to affirm that this budget is going to see a higher rate of increase, usually year over year through operations, simply because when, for example, in finance, we bought a new budgeting software with your approval. That implementation cost year one is in finance. Every year moving forward, it's in IT. So every additional module, every additional application that we don't develop in-house, every additional piece of software, all of the ongoing costs, which naturally need to be managed by the people that have nearly 3 centuries of experience in doing so, are in one place. The single greatest detail of any line item in the city of Franklin's $210 million of odd appropriations is the computer services line in the information technology department. I think we're at about 65 or
90.
We're at 90 lines and counting with all of the individualized annual software renewals.
So I'll move on. So our PRs, program enhancement request. So we'll start at the top with our number one, which is restoration of an assistant director for the infrastructure team. So if you scroll back up to the org chart, you can look. We used to have this position in place, and I guess the last year was 2019. That was a position that I actually filled. So we've been operating. We had some changes, and we've been operating with myself and Brandy leading the department.
So did COVID knock that out?
Do you want to?
We actually, I believe it was in January, February of 2020 was when the director of the department prior to Jason resigned. It was right before the shutdown.
Okay.
And when the world shut down in March of 2020, Jason had just moved into an interim role, and we had asked him to help us as we look. We're looking toward finding a permanent IT director and go through that process. Then the world shut down in March of 2020, and we froze hiring completely for several months because we didn't know how revenues would be impacted, and certainly we wanted to just hold the line until we knew more about that. So I believe it took us several months to be able to actually start hiring again, and we went through a hiring process, and which is when Jason and Brandy became our director and assistant director, but we still were running. We've never restored since that there was that time period of we lost positions or we lost staff, leadership staff at the same right before and right into going into that shutdown period.
And that was obviously a skill set that I had performed for quite a while. So we were at the time, and over the next few years, we were in a good spot as our projects continue to grow and we continue to try to accomplish more. We are requesting restoration of this position.
The next one is the IS Developer 1 position. So in the org chart, we have one IS developer in-house right now, and we're asking for a IS Developer 1 position to go under him. As the departments find out that we have an in-house person that can create things to help them in their day-to-day, they have really started to bring the projects along, and we really think that this person will help with that role, and it'll be a good addition to the org chart. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
I'll add just a little bit to that. So what this role would also help the developer do, since we do have the 90 line items of different pieces of software in our computer services fund, there's a lot of integration that has to happen across different solutions, different platforms. That would be a role or a duty that this position would be involved in. They would help across database type of things, a lot of dashboard work with departments, and hopefully to build things that would be more graphical in nature that would help bring to the board to make decisions for all departments. So I just wanted to add a little bit of that. So that's what the developer one position would be doing. I'm going to move down to a security SIM. So this is sort of getting into, I know there's a lot of acronyms and a lot of different professional industries, but a security SIM is basically a security information and event management. So what that does, it takes all the different layers and different platforms that we have in place, and instead of our team that does really focus on security, instead of them logging in to 12 or 15 different interfaces and getting notifications from 12 or different interfaces, this product pulls all of that data together and organizes it. And it's actually, it's on every, over the last couple years, from a cyber insurance standpoint, it has begun to be a question that these insurance carriers ask of us. So it will potentially help, it will help with some of those premiums that we do look at paying, which are very, very important for us to have in place. Next item that we have on is a contracts management solution. We've got a placeholder of $50,000 for this. So really what we're looking at doing here is just having something across the board with as many contracts that we have, that the city operates, and different departments that have, these contracts in place. And contracts may look very different based off which department is, working with them or what company they're working with. So it also may incorporate a certificate of insurances. So it's more of like a piece of software that creates capacity per se across the city and communication with what we've got going with contracts. Is there anything you want to add to that, Christine, on that piece?
I won't add much. This is just something that multiple departments, that almost every department utilizes contracts, but they have been managing their aspects of contracts. Perhaps most of them use spreadsheets and file folders to keep up with everything from certificates of insurance to vendor information, contact information, maturity dates of end dates of the contracts, and there's just we're looking for a way to increase that capacity in a way that is functional for multiple departments and hopefully for the entire city. So this investigation process has just started because we've all just invited departments to share their needs, share how they're currently managing those aspects and what their needs are. So this is an ask right now, but we'll know a lot more probably in the next 6 months or so.
Thank you. So the next item is edge intelligence for traffic operations and preemption. There's Chief Johnson. I'm not going to ask him to come up, but this is something that will greatly benefit his department. It's electronic vehicle preemption, so which gives the ability to manipulate traffic signals in the event that they're for safety purposes going to a call. There's a few different types of these solutions that exist out there. This is one that would actually run on top of our existing network, since we have fiber to over 150 traffic intersections. So the edge intelligence would work directly with a lot of the newer type vehicles. And it would pull that data in and give them sort of a real-time route per se that would make it much more efficient for them to get from point A to point B. What it would also do is feed that data over into our traffic operations center. So more in terms of like traffic calming. It would be a huge benefit for Adam, which is our traffic engineer in engineering, Paul Hosen. It's a project that we've been looking at for quite some time, but getting down to the details, this is where we're at, and we wanted to put this in for an enhancement for next year as well. So I will finish up with our PERs. I know we have quite a few PERs based off of other departments. As Christine stated, though, we do support all the departments across the city in technology. The last one is electronic access control devices for the city's stationary remote drop ship fuel sites. So in short, we work very closely with Brian in purchasing on this. We already have this in place for some of our traffic cabinets. So what it allows us to do is there's certain key fobs that the departments have, right? So we can actually program those key fobs over the air. So if people do come into, let's say refuel, or if they come in at a certain time, we can designate that to them, and we can control access to a certain area through the internet. So if there's something that comes up, there's an issue, so we need to disable that access. We don't have to worry about getting that key back. Or if there's, a major power outage, or if an employee leaves, we can go in there and we can manage that on the fly. And you don't have to worry about all the physical keys, et cetera. So we are requesting that as well to add on to what we have in-house today. So in summary and closing, we appreciate the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, City Administrator, our ACAs that support us on a daily basis, and the trust that's given to us to entrust in the technology and the recommendations that we make. Following for sort of a forecast for next year that you may see, and hopefully we'll have completed, is LPR grant completion. So that is LPR stands for license plate reader. So we do have a grant in that I've worked in our communications team for that. And actually Eric will be sharing more regards to that as we get closer to the project. So this does include 34 cameras at 17 different intersections. Implementation of a new city court solution, which Jessica may touch on as well. So we'll be supporting them in deploying that. And then we've also got an in-house that Brandy and our IS developer and one of our other key employees worked on, really for project tracking for us and how we keep up and have project management internally. So the first number that Brandy had shared for the 6,700 and something tickets that were closed. So none of those were actually project-related tickets. Those are just tickets that flow into our help desk system, or tier 1 type support. Some of them may be as quick as 5 minutes. Some of them may take 6 months. But we do have this in place, and we're hoping we'll be able to provide valuable feedback that will put some things in perspective when we do bring things to the table for you. So with that, I appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to me talk, and I will challenge Director Townsell on IT being the most fun department in the city. Especially since he's not in here.
Any questions? I do have one. The 34 cameras are not movie violation cameras, right? Right, okay.
No, sir.
Right, yeah, and by state law, we're not allowed to enforce traffic and speeding type
From the
violations through cameras. This is about finding stolen vehicles.
Correct.
Outstanding, there may be a warrant or somebody that needs to be sought after for criminal reasons. And so that's what it helps us do. We have used for several years some portable license plate readers, and they've helped us in several situations find people that were wanted for various crimes or stolen vehicle or that kind of thing.
And I'll add to that, this is the same system that THP, City of Brentwood, and also TDOT has in place. So they will work together.
Yeah, our existing is a different technology, so we're migrating to a technology that's really been, like you said, been sort of identified statewide, so we'll be on a common platform with most of our partners.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would be remiss if I did not take the opportunity to thank Director Potts for a fabulous presentation.
I would reply and thank you very much, Alderman Potts, for listening to our presentations.
All right, then let's go to the next presentation, which
That was a special moment there, by the way.
Yes. That was very special. It will happen again.
Mr. Chair, if I may, we do have just a little shift in the order from what the next one of my colleagues that is coming to join us is Jessica Davy, and then we will end our time together with Brad Wilson of Facilities. So this is Jessica Davy, who leads our revenue management, and she's also serves as our city court clerk.
Thank you, Christine, and good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be here with you to talk about the two offices that I support. So first, we will start with revenue management, which, as Mike pointed out, if it's money coming in, we get to manage it, which I think is the most fun job in the city. Since we're all putting our name in the hat for that.
fun job.
Yeah. So the Revenue Management Department performs billing services, collection services, and provides customer service for the Utility Department, which includes water and wastewater, stormwater division, sanitation and environmental services department. We also collect and process business taxes, hotel taxes, state shared taxes, and alcohol taxes, and of course issue various permits for our citizens. Just thought you might like to have some numbers as to what that means. We have 31,260 utility accounts that we bill and collect every month. Of those accounts, 16,740 of our customers have created an online account where they can pay their bill, look up their consumption, pull a copy of their bill, things like that. And 11,371 of them have enrolled in paperless billing and get their utility bill via email. And we also answered about 31,000 phone calls last year. So if you compare that to the number of utility accounts, it looks like each one of our customers called us once last year, but it sure felt like more than that.
Somebody used mine.
So we do all of that with a group of 14 full-time and 2 part-time employees, and you'll see our organizational chart there. On the left-hand side in white is the revenue management office. So 16 people handle all of that, and I'm very proud of the work that the team does. You can see that there are not any changes to personnel being requested this year. And there's a slight decrease in our operational costs. The interfund transfers impact our office quite a bit because of all of the different departments across the city that we perform services for. So that's why there is a decrease to our operational costs there. We do have one program enhancement request for the revenue management office. So another number that I didn't share earlier is that we have 39 hotels in the city limits. And historically, the city of Franklin has partnered with Williamson County government to perform a hotel motel occupancy tax audit. And the last audit was performed in 2018. And so we've been in discussion with the county, and what will happen is that we will coordinate with the county government. Their commission will select an auditor, and this request is to fund our portion of the audit for the hotels located within our jurisdiction, and of course, potentially find some revenue that wasn't paid in. So, and then in summary, I will share just a few highlights. So, kind of piggybacking on the heels of the IT department, we did implement a new bill printing system this past year, which has really increased efficiency. The team's really excited about some new features that really are better for our staff and our customers. The implementation went well and customer support has been great. We now use one vendor for both paper bills and e-bills, so we've consolidated that process, which saves time. We also now are able to receive reports after each bill cycle on both mailing addresses and email addresses. So if we have a bad address, we now are notified by our vendor so that we can reach out to customers to correct or update that and hopefully avoid a delay in getting their bill or missing a bill. We've also redesigned the bill, not huge changes, but we did try to streamline it, make it a little easier to read, and highlight some important information such as the amount due. It's now really big and on the top corner, first thing you see. We figured that was what everybody was really looking for when they opened their bills. We created a QR code that's now on the bill so customers can scan that and it'll take them directly to their online account. Or if they don't have an account, they can still do a quick pay and pay online. We have the ability to reprint duplicate bills. We couldn't do that before. So if someone lost their bill and wants another copy, we can print the actual bill for them now. And the electronic billing customers receive a copy of their actual bill. Before, their billing information was in the body of the email, which worked, but now they actually have an attachment to that email with a printable PDF of their bill. We have the ability to add and manage important messages to the bill. So sometimes other departments, fire, I don't know if Chief Johnson's still back there, fire, water will have a requirement that they need to send a notice to the residents, and they'll ask us to put that notice on the utility bill so that they're able to meet their requirements, but it's no additional cost. And the process to do that is a whole lot easier, and the team in our office can actually add those messages with, total control over what it says and when it's on there. And then finally, just another feature that we think is a great way to increase efficiency. The vendor offers householding, so that means if you have 6 accounts in the city, instead of getting 6 separate pieces of mail, you'll get one envelope with all 6 statements inside. Saves postage, saves paper envelope costs, and they also do return envelope suppression. So if you have a zero balance, you're signed up for direct or automatic payment, you have a credit, you overpaid, we don't mail you a return envelope because we're not expecting you to mail a payment back. Seems like a little thing, but it can add up. And we actually had people call and say, why are you mailing me a return envelope when you have a zero balance? And we're like, we're working on it. So we're excited for all of those enhancements. So now, moving on, changing hats real quick and going to the city court department. So the purpose of city court is to effectively, efficiently, and accurately process city ordinance violations to create and sustain customer-oriented quality service, providing maximum access to the court and promoting public confidence. We want everybody who has to come to court or gets the opportunity to come to court to feel like they were treated fairly and that we were efficient when they had to come pay a ticket. And we're also excited to go into our second year working with Judge Jessica Bourne as city court judge. And we like to say that the city court team is small but mighty. So you can see on the chart there on the right-hand side, shaded in red, we have 2 full-time and 1 part-time position in the city court office. But they processed 5,543 cases last year, which included a little over 3,400 moving violations, 2,000 parking tickets, and 85 building and neighborhood service codes violations. You'll see just a slight increase in personnel costs due to medical premiums. There is a large decrease in the operations. So as Jason and Michael were explaining earlier, we had a program enhancement request for court last year to purchase new software. And so that will be coming out of the court operation costs and going into the IT budget for maintenance after this year. So that's why you see a pretty significant decrease there. I do have one program enhancement request for City Court. It is to reclass the chief deputy position to a supervisory role. So the purpose behind this is to really acknowledge the leadership of the chief deputy position that already exists and to enhance it with the supervisory duties. The chief deputy currently provides all technical training, coordinates with the court clerk, myself, to develop and implement new procedures, and serves as liaison to numerous departments, IT, BNS, police department, purchasing. She's the point of contact for all of those offices. And then the addition of the supervisory duties would really empower the chief deputy to make and adjust staff schedules, provide direct feedback, training, or counseling to our staff, and then serve as a backup to me when needed. And then we are, as I mentioned, we asked for the program enhancement request last year to purchase new software. We've selected a vendor. We're really excited about that. And the chief deputy will be taking on a very big role in spearheading that implementation this year. And so I will end with some highlights of that new system that we're really excited about. The new case management system will offer online payments, which we know our customers want to pay their ticket online. Hopefully this will increase how quickly we get payment, maybe even, the fact that we get payment at all from some folks. There's going to be a better reporting with this new system, both financial reports and metrics. So, things like how many cases we've processed, we're going to have a whole lot more detail on that. We'll be able to text defendants through the system, remind them of court dates. If they miss a court date, we can text them and let them know they need to call us and follow up. Remind them if they have a driving school certificate that's outstanding or a payment that they need to make. All paperwork will be hosted within the system. We'll be able to attach documents to the cases. So when someone comes in and wants to verify that we got a copy of their updated registration, the team has one place that they can go look for that. It will allow us to do electronic filing with the Department of Safety, Department of Revenue. And we'll also have the ability to update cases in real time. So we'll be able to have a staff member in court when the adjudication is complete, update the citation with whatever the judge's decision was. So by the time they get across the hall to the clerk's office, that staff member in the office already knows exactly what the decision was and what payment needs to be rendered, or if they need to provide driving school information. So a lot of updates and enhancements and really exciting things for City Court. And we're excited to continue serving the citizens of Franklin and working with all the other departments. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Thank you.
No questions, but I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I was just going to ask, would you give us a number again on how many people have signed up for the auto pay and also for the paperless billing?
So I don't know how many are in auto draft. I can find out and let you know. We do have 11,371 enrolled in our paperless billing.
That's great.
Yeah, out of 31,000 utility accounts.
That's great.
Yeah.
Huge cost savings there.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I see Brad is next?
Brad is on his way. Brad Wilson, our facilities manager, will be wrapping up the afternoon for our support services team.
I feel like the closer.
You are our closer today, Brad.
You are.
Here, I'm soon to be the closer. Either that or like when I graduated out of Auburn. You ever sat in a big college graduation and you're a W or a Z?
Yes.
They get to you the next day.
Yeah.
Do what?
They get to you the next day.
They'll mail it.
These would have no idea.
Yeah.
Have no idea.
No, you're already home in another state. Go ahead, Christine. You got anything? We get pulled up here. I listened to Jason and Brandy's comments about how many Help Star tickets, about 6,000. I think we got about 5,000 of them. Facilities does, so. And a few of them are City Hall roofs. So, let's see. All right, well, thank y'all again. Another year comes. Purpose of our department, we'll talk about that, and it continues to be, as it has in the past, facility management mission is to consistently deliver an effective programs and efficient facility services based on sustainable and collaborative outcomes aligned with the City of Franklin's core mission. The City of Franklin's Maintenance Department works to maintain the safety, as always, and cohesiveness regarding the infrastructure for both staff and guests regarding all city facilities. Some of our accomplishments that we have been able to complete have been LED lighting systems at the Public Work Management Warehouse. Also, and with that, we've just finished some new LED lighting at the Fleets facility, and I believe over at the water plant, we've also done some new LED lighting over there. So we're working to replace with better lighting and a little bit more cost-effective lighting as well. We did complete the Fire Station 4 kitchen remodel with the help of the fire department. Multiple roofing projects, multiple sites, as you could tell as you walked into administration today. We're just got an email a moment ago. We're having a walkthrough next week with our cooperative roofing contractor to go over our problems here. We've got about 10 to 12 that we're looking at. We have leaks right now that we're trying to control. Installation of infrastructure at Sanitation Environmental Services. That was for, don't know if you know, with the new compactor system, which is now operational over there down in one of the transfer bays near the Pit of Misery. And it is working. It's very nice. I was over there the other day, and it's really helping with the trash. I think it's going to help with the birds, because the old trailers that were open, they have buzzards galore there. And with this new system, it's going to help. And they're really trying to push more trash into the new enclosed trailer systems than they are the open trailers. So I think
There's
it
some
was
great video that the communication team has put out this week of the new system and how that works. And Brad's exactly right. It eliminates a whole trash issue around
Trash,
and
extra
cleanliness issue. It's safer, and that also adds capacity. Almost a doubling of the capacity at that transfer station without really a huge capital investment.
Yeah, very nice.
Memory serves me right, it was number one on your top 3 this week.
It was good stuff. Yes, that's right.
All right.
It's nice. And I want to tell you, that team that put that thing in there, they did a heck of a job. They installed that whole system in 2 days, and it's a massive system over there. Sorry to get off the line there. Well, it did talk about there on the next line. So we did complete the 2nd Avenue parking garage deck structure. Thank you for that last year, because it was a waterfall at certain spots within that parking garage. And with the waterproofing that we've done over there, it'll help maintain and give added years of life to that facility. And then we also replaced the roof over at Station 5 that we were having a little bit of problem with. Our org chart has changed a little bit this year from what you saw last year. We have Clint Bogle, who is our new facilities maintenance supervisor when Kevin Faley retired. We interviewed Clint. He comes from the streets department. It's been an excellent hire for our departments. Best team I've had in 15 years. So we have Clint, we have Joseph Moreland, who's who is now the senior. I have to call him the senior because he's been around about as long as, he's been around longer than any of them. And two fairly new gentlemen, kind of out of the Murfreesboro area. One used to work for the Murfreesboro Facilities Group for their city. And then another gentleman that has a little bit of, well, no, let me just say about Terrence. Terrence is great. Terrence is one of those guys, you can tell him what to do or show him what to do, and he does it. So we've got, I think, one of the best crews we've got, and there's not anything we can't handle. And they get right on it whenever we need to. Our base budget, I know, has increased a little bit this year. And that really is because dirty water and clean water with the water management department. That's how Clint kind of calls it out, dirty water, just where you can remember it better. And sanitation, environmental service. We're doing more work for those departments now. We've been asked to kind of step in and help when they've got problems with mechanical systems and things like that. We did a project this year for the water department, just to tell you real quick, because of the chemicals that are in that building and what the chemicals would do in the air system over there. It kind of irritates metal products over there. So we were able to devise a way to ventilate the chemical tanks. And I think on one of Cody's enhancements, or was asking maybe this year, he's looking to install some new tank systems for his chemicals, which will really knock down the amount of air products that's put through the building over there and help us control the lifetime span of that building. So, but that's why you will see the increase that we have in our budget this year. And I can read it and I can go over it if you like. Rising costs over the last few years, the budgets will reflect changes that we've seen due to utility costs still going up, vendor increases, additional facilities the department is now maintaining. Challenges arise about everything we purchase, show due to increases in petroleum, labor, and inflation cost. We work with our supply chain vendors regarding purchases that we make, look for our other suppliers as we can. Some of our current vendors continue to work with us and have not presented a price increase this past year and/or past few years. We purchase items for the fire facilities, PD, Public Works, City Hall, and miscellaneous other departments. We also handle all the labor costs for departments as mentioned. This year's budget will reflect a higher change in multiple areas from utilities to everyday items to housekeeping type repairs needed at city facilities. We as other departments work hard to control spending as best we can. Few enhancements that we're looking at and talk about. The 5 Points Post Office, which believe, we've had, that is our building. We maintain the exterior of the 5 Points Post Office. Everything on the interior of the post office, the bank maintains, along with the people with the post office as well. The bank works with them on the post office. The post office on the exterior is starting to show some signs of age. We've got paint starting to peel off the gutters and off the fascia, off the wood products, and we need to help take care of that building. So we have a quote to paint the exterior of the post office, the old 5 Points. PD is 15 years old. We have some lights that are over the grand stairwell, that I call it, in the interior of the police department. And if we were to look to try to change out what is there now to keep the aesthetics of that area, we're looking at the cost of $14,000. Replace the bay doors at Station 4. Station 4, I wish I could remember right off about how old Station 4 is out at the Fieldstone Farms area, but I believe it's 20 years plus. So it has the original bay doors on the building. And they're oversized. They were specially built doors. They are heavy. We have some structural issues on the tops of them, so we have to rebrace them occasionally. The doors are unsafe. Unsafe's a big word, probably not that. The doors are just old and need to be considered to be replaced. It'd be a safer, better door. Instead of a door on the front and a door on the back, we would be going to two separate doors on the front, two separate doors on the back, which would help with the maintenance and the lifespan.
I would imagine those doors, that is much older than 20.
Oh, I believe they are. I wish I could.
Station 4 opened in 97, so 27 years old.
Yeah. One of my favorite things that we get to remodel is Station 5 restrooms or restroom facilities. We've done a few already with the help of Christine after our field trips that we make to show her the size of them. It's always a fun conversation. Station 6, how old is Station 6?
2008,
2008.
so 15, 16.
So 15, 16, we're in the need of look to replace the roof on that. It is a very heavy architectural type shingle that the original developer asked to have installed on that building. And we'll probably go with the same look, but a little bit lighter shingle that will help with the structural weight of it. There's some other key issues that we're looking at that building in regards to the structure, but right now I think you have to start at the very top, and that is the roof. And then Michael has on here, which I'm appreciate him putting on here, upgrades to the wastewater locker room. The wastewater locker room in the old building there, I've been here 15 years. Nothing has happened in that space. It's the original restroom facility or locker room space with the showers and the floors and the plumbing that was there the day they built the building. And I really don't know how old that building.
We were out there this morning and the plaque said 1975.
Okay. So the showers need enhancement. The locker room needs enhancement. It's one of those situations that what really made me think about it this year was with the freeze that we had and the ice and the snow, we had about 3 or 4 additional staff members that stayed out there and they didn't have a way to take a shower until they could finally go home. But the other main thing is you see the fire halls that we build, and every fire hall has a decon shower area. And they don't have that out there. So if they should be splashed, something should get on them. They don't have a way to go in there to shower off. They would have to literally unclothe to a point and then get in their cars and drive home. So I think that is an important enhancement. I think all of them are important enhancements, but I'm glad Michael put that on there so we could at least talk about that. And in summary, it's always our intention to keep our budget as close to the prior year as possible. With rising vendor supply cost inflation over the last few years, year's budget definitely reflects the changes. Challenges will continue to arise within facilities regarding cost impacts that we cannot control based on contract materials in today's marketplace. Facilities continues to replace, when needed, older appliances regarding lighting with energy-saving devices. We continue when needed or able at our older facilities make significant amount of lighting changes throughout. Current City of Franklin building infrastructure such as PD with lighting, Fire Station 6 with roofing and stonework along with and other halls are starting to require more work regarding protection from the elements of weather, etc. As always, and as I've stated in the past, we will continue to take the funds provided and use them in the very wisest way possible while working to save funds however and wherever possible. And as always, I thank this board for the approvals that you give us. Any questions? Come on, not one? Just one.
No questions.
All right, thank y'all very much.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have any other business to come before the committee?
This is all of my team's presentations for today. If Eric or Michael may have some follow-up.
Just housekeeping. So 3 program areas have now been presented to you: public safety, governments and management, and finance and administration. That leaves 2 remaining. The next meeting is March 7th, as it's on the calendar today. And then your second meeting in March will be March 21st to allow that break for spring break
Okay.
in the middle.
So March 7th, March 21st.
Yes, sir. First and third Thursdays in the month of March.
If there's no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Proper motion to a second.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.